Hello Year 3 and welcome to Week 1, Lesson 2 of Topic. And it's our second lesson of Science Week. And today we're going to be looking at teeth. Okay, learning objectives. Recognise what happens when food goes into your mouth. I'm hungry. Identify different types of teeth. And to infer what teeth tell us about life now and in the Middle Ages. Okay, interesting. Let's have a look. Right, types of teeth. There are 3 to remember. Okay, let's have a look at this. All of this detail here. We've got at the front, number 1, we've got incisors, and they help us tear and bite off pieces of food. We've got canines just here either side, and they're used for tearing and ripping food. And finally, molars. They'll help you crush and grind food, so that you can actually swallow it and don't have to eat everything whole. Okay, remember these things here because on the next slide, we're going to have a little test to see what you can remember. Remember, you can always come back to this though. Let's have a look. Let's move on in 3, 2, 1, now. There we are. I want you to copy down the table. Incisors, canines, molars, and then fill in that table with the red words in the word bank here. And then once you've done that, try and draw the teeth. That's not actually that easy. I know it's not that easy, but give it your best shot. And then label what you think the types of teeth are. So 1, is that going to be molars or canines or incisors? You tell me. Pause the video now and unpause when you're ready to find out. And we will find out in 3, 2, 1, now. There we go. Right, just check your answers. If you need to change anything, of course you can. Take the time now to pause and have a look, and then move on when we're ready in 3, 2, 1, go. Right, so what happens to food in your mouth? We have a video to watch. Let's have a look.
This is one of the best teams in the world, the Mouth, Tongue, Teeth team. Here they go, straight into action. There are the front teeth, slicing and ripping off a chunk of food, ready for grinding it into smaller pieces. Very smooth action from the tongue there, passing the food directly to the back teeth. And some very nice use of saliva. Of course, saliva isn't just wet stuff, it's helping to dissolve that food. And the back teeth getting into their stride now, they are crushing that food. I think we might be ready for the swallow. The tongue pushing the food to the back of the mouth. Nicely done! The throat muscles getting ready. And there goes the swallow. It's all over.
Okay, very good. Right, so let's have a look then. Now we've seen the video. What do we need to do? We need to write 2 or 3 sentences explaining what this video shows us. So you can look back at the video and I want you to explain what it actually tells us is happening. Pause the video now and then unpause when you're ready. And we'll have a look in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so the food enters the digestive system through the mouth. It's broken down into smaller pieces by chewing. And also, did you notice in the video too, they mentioned saliva. So that's the liquid that we have in our mouth, and it makes the food softer and easier to swallow. It also helps the food dissolve before we grind and chew it in the back of our teeth too. So also another word, it says after being swallowed, the food passes down the esophagus. That's a tricky word, esophagus, but you can see that the food is in the esophagus there because that's this part, the esophagus, between the stomach and the throat. Okay? Right, let's have a look at this video, and then afterwards I want you to write down 3 things that you have learned from it.
Our teeth are one of the strongest parts of our body. They are made from proteins such as collagen and minerals such as calcium. In addition to helping us chew through even the toughest foods, they also help us speak clearly. Most adults have 32 teeth, called permanent or secondary teeth. 8 incisors, 4 canines, also called cuspids, 8 premolars, also called bicuspids, 12 molars, including 4 wisdom teeth, whereas children have 20 teeth. All 8 of our incisor teeth are located in the front part of our mouth. We have 4 of them in our upper jaw and 4 in our lower jaw. They have sharp edges that help us bite into food. Whenever we sink our teeth into something, such as an apple, we use our incisor teeth. The very first teeth we grow are incisors, appearing when we are around 6 months old. Canines are 4 teeth which sit next to the incisors. We have 2 canines at the top of our mouth and 2 on the bottom. Canines have a sharp, pointy surface for tearing food. Canines are also called cuspids. Premolars are 8 in number and sit next to your canines. There are 4 premolars on top and 4 on the bottom. Premolars are bigger than canines and incisors. They have a flat surface with ridges for crushing and grinding food into smaller pieces to make it easier to swallow. Baby molar teeth are replaced by adult premolars.
Okay, very good. So, I want you to write down 3 things that you learned from this video. You can, of course, rewind and replay if you need to. Just think, how many teeth does an adult have? How many does a child have? How many are there of different sets of teeth? How many canines are there? How many incisors? And that should give you at least 3 things to write. So let's move on in 3, 2, 1. Once you've done that, and the next is... what we've learned about teeth. So, have a look through this slide. It's everything that we've just said. And then unpause the video when you're ready to try the questions. Okay, here are our questions. Pause the video now, try and fill in the gaps, and then I'll show you the answers in 3, 2, 1. Here we are. Check your answers and change any that you need to in your books. And we'll move on in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay. Look at these 2 skulls with teeth in them. So we're going to look at what examining teeth can tell us about history. Which teeth would you say are healthier? Is it A or is it B? What do you think? Let's see. Well, one of these people died between the years of 1847 and 1851. So that's about 150 years ago. And the other person died 600 years earlier than that person. I wonder if you can guess which one is which. Have a go. We'll find out in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, A is the one that is from a more recent time. So A only died 150 years ago, but the man suffered with tooth decay. He was from Ireland. And also the B, that's the really old one. So this is a skull of a person from the Middle Ages. And that was around the time when we had the Robin Hood stories starting as well. He'd be sung about by the minstrels going around the villages. And what lovely teeth they are. But what does this tell us about people's teeth in the Middle Ages? Because it's easy to think that the ones that looked worse there were going to be the older ones. But that wasn't true. It's all about how we look after our own teeth. And look, for many years, people thought that the people living in Robin Hood's time in the Middle Ages, well, they didn't have toothpaste like now, and they didn't know about dental hygiene and going to the dentist. But this skull tells us differently. It tells us that they kept their teeth in as good condition as they could. So what does their teeth tell us about their daily life? Well, people back then, they only used to live to about 30 years of age. A lot different to today. Today, the average age to live to is about 81. And that was only found out a couple of years ago in a study. But it would have been unusual for before people reaching 30 for their teeth to rot. because their diet was actually a lot healthier than some of our diets today. Look at that picture down the bottom there. Isn't that all really tasty stuff? Yeah, it is. Oh, but they didn't have that back then, and we have a lot of that now. And I have to admit, not a lot of it is very good for our teeth. So yeah, their natural diet was better at maintaining health. They had lots of vegetables. They grew their own food, as we looked at yesterday, with soil. And they even brushed their teeth with cloth after eating as well. However, I don't know if it was that great living back then with all of that going on, because if you did have a tooth problem, it would be dealt with by the barber, who would also cut your hair, and he'd probably use a knife or a razor to remove your tooth. So, ouch. It all says it in the face there. Okay. So, using what we know about the dental hygiene in the Middle Ages and people's teeth, I want you to write a summary. Okay? Remember, and tell us what it tells us about their diets of people back then compared to today, and also try and include the names of the different types of teeth that are shown in this picture. You can also rewind the video to help you come up with some answers too. Okay, we'll move on. So pause that, have a go, and then we'll move on in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, looks like that is the last thing. I'd forgotten I'd made that the last slide, but we'll leave it at that. So once you've done your summary, that's a lot of different work today. We've looked at different types of teeth. We've looked at teeth in Robin Hood's time as well, and you've done some fantastic work. So tomorrow we're going to move on to an experiment which involves magnets. So tune back in tomorrow, and I can't wait to see the work that you've done. Bye bye, Year 3.